The law concerning fringes upon their garments, and memorandums of the commandments, which we had before, number 15:38, 39, is here repeated, v. 12. By these they were distinguished from other people, so that it might be said, upon the first sight there goes an Israelite, which taught them not to be ashamed of their country, nor the peculiarities of their religion, how much soever their neighbors looked upon them and it with contempt, and they were also put in mind of the precepts upon the particular occasions to which they had reference, and perhaps this law is repeated here because the precepts immediately foregoing seemed so minute that they were in danger of being overlooked and forgotten. The fringes will remind you not to make your garments of linen and woolen, v. 11. These laws relate to the seventh commandment, laying a restraint by laying a penalty upon those fleshly lusts which war against the soul. If a man, lusting after another woman, to get rid of his wife slander her and falsely accuse her, as not having the virginity she pretended to when he married her, upon the disproof of his slander he must be punished, v. 13:19. What the meaning of that evidence is by which the husband's accusation was to be proved false the learned are not agreed, nor is it at all necessary to inquire those for whom this law was intended, no doubt, understood it. It is sufficient for us to know that this wicked husband, who had thus endeavored to ruin the reputation of his own wife, was to be scourged and fined and bound out from ever divorcing the wife he had thus abused, v. 18:19. Upon his dislike of her he might have divorced her if he had pleased, by the permission of the law, but then he must have given her dowry, if therefore to save that, and to do her the greater mischief, he would thus destroy her good name, it was fit that he should be severely punished for it, and forever after forfeit the permission to divorce her. The nearer any are in relation to us the greater sin it is to belie them and blemish their reputation. It is spoken of as a crime of the highest nature to slander thy own mother's son, PS 50:20, who is next to thyself, much more to slander thy own wife, or thy own husband, that is thyself. It is an ill bird indeed that defiles its own nest. Chastity is honor as well as virtue, and that which gives occasion for the suspicion of it is as great a reproach and disgrace as any whatsoever. In this matter therefore, above anything, we should be highly tender both of our own good name and that of others. 3. Parents must look upon themselves as concerned to vindicate the reputation of their children, for it is a branch of their own. If the woman that was married as a virgin was not found to be one, she was to be stoned to death at her father's door, v. 20:21. If the uncleanness had been committed before she was betrothed it would not have been punished as a capital crime, but she must die for the abuse she put upon him whom she married, being conscious to herself of being defiled, while she made him believe her to be a chaste and modest woman. But some think that her uncleanness was punished with death only in case it was committed after she was betrothed, supposing there were few come to maturity but what were betrothed, though not yet married. Now, this gave a powerful caution to young women to flee fornication, since, however concealed before, so as not to mar their marriage, it would very likely be discovered afterwards, to their perpetual infamy and utter ruin. It is intimated to parents that they must by all means possible preserve their children's chastity, by giving them good advice and admonition, setting them good examples, keeping them from bad company, praying for them, and laying them under needful restraints, because, if the children committed lewdness, the parents must have the grief and shame of the execution at their own door. That phrase of folly wrought in Israel was used concerning this very crime in the case of Dinah, General 34:7. All sin is folly, uncleanness especially, but, above all, uncleanness in Israel, by profession a holy people.